All right, basic start of systems by elimination. This is my favorite method. I don't know about you guys, but I like when something drops out. So what could we multiply the top one by? Well, we want it to be a negative 18, right? So just a positive 2 would do? Remember what you do to one side, you have to do to the other. So we get negative 18x minus 6y equals negative 42. 18x minus 4y equals 2. I'm getting negative 10y equals negative 40, so y equals 4. Does that seem right to everybody? Someone else get that? Okay, these are actually two linear equations, so if we graphed them, we would be looking for the point of intersection, so we need an ordered pair. So if we put this back in, and it does not matter which equation you put it in, I'm thinking if I add 16 over here, I get 18x equals 18. Did anybody else get 1, 4? Okay, and it's only a really silly person who gets these wrong on a test because you have a calculator in your hand. Check that it works in both equations. If we put it in up here, we get negative 9 minus 12 is negative 21. That seems to be okay. It has to work in both equations. If you do it correctly, it will work in both equations, but it's your easy check to see that you've gotten the right point. All right, I need your eyes up here for a minute, not working on something on your paper, because we need to talk about different ways that linear systems can intersect, or kinds of systems. You can have two lines that are parallel, and then they will have no point of intersection. Thanks. They are, that kind of a system is called an inconsistent system. I can't spell. Okay, because it has no intersections at all. If they intersect at a single point, it is called consistent, because basically consistent means has at least one solution. And lines that coincide, that means they're right on top of each other, they're really the same line. Okay, and that is also called a consistent system. I can't spell that word. It's called dependent and consistent, okay? You don't have to know that vocabulary, like all of it, but if it's a multiple choice question and it has more than one solution, it will say like many solutions, consistent system or something. So as long as you know it has many solutions, then you're good. All right, just a picture quick. No solution inconsistent, one solution consistent, infinitely many solutions consistent, and this one is also called dependent. Now for this, you cannot write all real numbers, okay? Because if my equation of my line happened to be this, this doesn't make any sense for the picture, but it doesn't matter. That's a 7. There's an infinite number of ways we can add up to 7, because we can use positives, negatives, whole numbers, decimals. But does 2, 2 work? No. So there has to be a relationship between those. So I don't want you to just say all real numbers, because you need to say there are many solutions that will work. All right. Solve by elimination. I put that in there because this one may come out weird. If we multiply the bottom one through by a 2 and try to add them together, what happens? Everything over here drops out, or you could say 0x plus 0y equals 9. Okay? When you get a false statement like that, then it is no solution, which means what? It would be an inconsistent system, and what would the graph look like? Yes, this would be parallel lines. Okay? I would skip number 3, except some of you maybe haven't done one for a while where you have to do what? Multiply both of them by something? What could we multiply the top one by? -2? What's that gonna make drop out? Yeah, we have to do both of them by something. If we did the bottom one by a -2 and the top one by a 7, then the x's would drop out. You could also do it so the y's drop out first, doesn't matter. Okay? So you guys do whichever way you want, and we'll all see if we get the same ordered pair, okay? I'm actually gonna pause this so it's not so boring and long. All right, so I came out with a -2 for x and a 1 for y. I really need to encourage you, please write your answers as ordered pairs, okay? So you write x, y. It's the point where those two lines intersect. Did everybody get that? Did I make a mistake? Are we okay? Okay. Did you put 1 in for y?
Yeah.
In which equation?
Top one.
Okay. So you would have 2x minus 7 equals -11?
Oh, it's negative, my fault.
Okay, that's easy to do. Again, that's why I encourage you to check your answers when you're done in both equations, because it's really easy to make a sign mistake. And if you did it on the first number, it's going to carry through and get you both of them wrong. Okay. I do want to mention, and it's coming up on a problem I think anyway, but they will use other letters than x and y. Just put them in alphabetical order when you put them in the ordered pairs, okay? Yes. Solve by substitution here. I'm going to substitute all of this in here for this y. So we'll say -3x minus 14 equals 2x minus 4. Maybe this is your favorite method, I don't know. The good news about this one is they're really easy to substitute back in when you're done. I don't know, did I do something wrong or did someone else? Okay. If I check it in the top one, it would become 6 minus 14 is -8. That seems okay? Gunther, did I lose you somewhere? Everybody okay? Number 5 isn't difficult, but it is easy to make a mistake. When you put, this one is solved for y, so I'm going to substitute in here. So I get 4x minus 2 times y. So be careful, what am I distributing? A -2. Did I do something wrong? I don't remember getting that answer last period.
Should be 10 plus 6. -2 times -3.
Oh, this is a plus, so this is a 10. Thank you. Now if I plug it back in, I get y equals 1. So my ordered pair is 3, 1. If I check it in the top one, that gives me 12 minus 2 is 10. It seems like it's working in both. Everybody okay with substitution? All right, I'm not sure why there's one more, except that maybe we get a weird answer here. -9. Oh. I'm gonna get a weird answer because I'm putting it in for the X and not the Y. -9x plus 3 times 3x minus 8 equals -24. I get -9x plus 9x minus 24 equals -24. So I either have -24, if I could write, equals -24, or if I add 24, I get 0 equals 0. Is this no solution?
No, it's not.
Okay, this is a true statement this time, right? So these are really the same line. So if they are the same line, we write what? Many solutions is fine, and that's one of the choices that the test generates if it's multiple choice. It'll say many solutions and consistent system, but as long as you know many solutions, you'll be fine. I cannot spell that word for the life of me.
You could just write constants.
I think it's because I'm trying to talk at the same time and it just doesn't work. All right. On a test or quiz, there will be word problems and they will look like this. I need you to understand that this blank is for assigning the variable. It is not where I want you to solve the problem. I just want you to tell me what X and Y represent. Now, for some crazy reason, I have this all stretched out so it goes like flying off the page and you can't even read it. So you're gonna have to read it on your worksheet. What are the two things we're trying to find?
Child price tickets and adult.
Okay, the price of, which one do you want me to do for X?
I did adults.
Adult tickets? All right, so those blanks, and you will get point for doing that, is I need you to tell me what it is that X and Y are representing. Because if you don't assign the variable, then when your equation looks different from my equation, I won't know if you really knew what you were doing, okay? If we agree that X is adult tickets, can anybody tell me what one of the sentences or equations will be? What?
7x plus 1.
And I don't know what that number is.
79.
79, okay. And the other equation? What's that?
40.
40? Okay. Is it okay with you if we just assume you could solve this if you had to?
I saw.
Do you want me to go through and do it? I can, doesn't matter. You'd have to multiply both by something, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they're just ugly. -4 and +7, or 5 and -11 or something. Okay? I won't solve. In the end, if it was on the test, some of the questions I don't have you solve, just because if you can't set them up, then you can't solve them. This is one I'm pretty sure you could all set up, so I might make you solve it. But you would have to answer as the price of an adult ticket is, okay, I can't write either. Did you do it? Oh, I don't know how much it is. Okay. Did you solve it though? What did it come out?
$5 for adult tickets and 4 for.
Okay. All right, without work, but that's our answer. All right, just a second. I'm gonna talk about the next section. I have a little bit of notes up here, just follow along. It says it's possible to use elimination to solve larger systems. This kind we're gonna do are called 3x3 systems. That means you need 3 equations, and they deal with 3 different unknowns or variables. Okay? Okay, without looking at your paper, can you just look up here for a minute? I don't think this is the same example you have on your paper. I just want to go through one without you having to write anything down, okay? Once you're focused up here. We need to get rid of one variable first. Do you want to get rid of x or z?
Z.
Okay? If we get rid of z, we could add these top 2 together. Does everybody see that? What would we get if we added those 2 together?
X plus, or X minus 4.
Everybody good? Okay. The second part of this is you have to eliminate the same variable from a different set of 2 equations. Now, when I say different set, obviously you're going to have to reuse one of the equations again, okay? For example, if I multiplied this by a 2 and rewrote it underneath here, it would say negative 2x minus 6y plus 2z equals 10. And now if I add these 2 together, the z will also drop out and I'll have what? Equals 0, right? Did I do that right, guys? Add those together? Okay. Now I'm down to 2 equations in 2 variables, and you're doing exactly what you've been doing since the beginning of the worksheet. What?
No, she did top one.
Oh, top one. I thought she was doing the bottom one. Okay, never mind.
All right, so if I added these together right now, I'd get negative 4y equals 4, y equals negative 1. I could plug that back in somewhere here. I think I get x equals 2, positive 2. Did I do that right?
Why, if you make it negative 2?
I think it's positive 2. And then you would have to go back to one of these. Guys, you would go back here and do 2 times 2 plus negative 1 minus z equals negative 1 and solve for z. I think you get 4. I don't know, I'm going fast and in my head, but let's see what they had for a solution. They had 2, negative 1, and anybody find z? Did I? I don't know where their answer was. Does anybody see what they got for z?
You need to go now.
Oh, there we go. Thanks. All right. I think we got it. All right, let's try this problem that's on our worksheet. We need to first decide on a variable we're going to eliminate, and we need to eliminate it twice, okay? Which one do you want to do?
R.
I think S or T would be an easier choice. T looks like the easiest choice to me because if we add these 2, T will drop out. We don't have to multiply by anything, right? And then if we do the, yeah. Elijah wanted to do R too. Really? I'm going to do it the easy way. If you want me to do it the hard way, I can. Shh. Guys, there's a lot of people absent that need to watch this video later, so let's try to get through this the easy way first. All right, if we add the first and last equation together, I'm going to rewrite it real fast over here so that it's clear what I'm doing. It would be clear if I could write, but what's going to happen actually when I add these 2 together? Yeah, the S's drop out and the T's drop out, and I get R equals negative 1. That was nice. Okay. I could also add these bottom 2 together. Those I won't rewrite. I'll just write an arrow here. What happens there? Yeah, both the R's and the T's drop out, so I get 4S equals 12. So now I know S is 3. Is this the easiest one ever? Yes. It's not going to happen that way very often, but there are a couple on the homework that are easy to solve. We still need to figure out what T is. It doesn't matter which equation we use. If I picked the first one and did -5 times -1 minus 5 times 3 plus T equals -9. This is 5 minus 15 would be -10. Does that give me T as 1, guys? And the ordered triple in alphabetical order would be -1, 3, 1. Did I do that right? LMNOPQRST?
Yeah, we good.
Okay.
I don't know.
We will eventually do a tiny bit of three-dimensional graphing. This actually would represent three-dimensional graphing, okay? And this is the point where these three would intersect. Yeah, when we graph, all we're gonna do is graph this point. We're not gonna try to graph these three. All right. What do you want to try here? It wouldn't be hard to do A or B. C looks a little more painful to me. You want to get rid of A or B? All right, let's do B. 3A plus B minus 3C equals 16. And I'm going to do this one first. 3A minus B plus 2C equals 4. All right, picking those two, adding together so B drops out. 6A minus C equals 20. Did I get that right? These are really easy to make a mistake. I think I made 2 or 3 mistakes doing this one in 4th period, so we'll see if I can do it without a mistake this time. Probably not likely. And I'll talk more about that in a second. But when I pick a different set of 2, I'm going to pick the bottom 2. I'm going to rewrite the first one, 6A plus 2B minus 7C equals 34. In order for the B to drop out, I call on the algebra fairy and wish there was a -2 right in there. There's already negative, so I need to multiply everything by a 2. So that gives me 6A minus 2B plus 4C equals 8. If I add those together, I have 12A minus 3C equals 42. How am I doing? Anybody spot a mistake yet? We need to combine these two equations now and use elimination. You want to get rid of A or C next?
Hey.
Okay. So let's do a -2 times this one and rewrite it down here. We'll have -12A plus 2C, if I did that correctly, equals -40. So when I add those together, I get -1C equals +2. C is -2. Did you already do this one, Noah? You're supposed to be helping me out here. Working ahead so I know if I made a silly mistake. If I plug this back in, I'm going to pick here 6A plus 2 equals 20. I got A is 3. Now what do I need to do to find B? Yeah, go back to one of the original equations. I'm just going to pick the first one. 3A plus B minus 3C equals 16. This is 9, and this is positive 6, so is it 15?
Yeah, it's this one.
All right. If I did it right, I have 3, 1, and negative 2. I think it worked in the first one. I'm going to try it in the second one just to make sure it works. 18 and 14 is 32 and 2 is 34. That one seems to be checking. Nine minus 1 is 8, minus 4 is 4. I think it checks in the third one, so I'm going with it's working. Are we okay? All right. How about if you try this one and see how far you get? I think I'd go with C. Add these two and add these two. Unfortunately, this is icky. Now we have to do something to get rid of A or B.
Just do A because B will be big numbers.
Okay. So I gotta multiply this maybe by a 3 and this by a negative 2. Will that work? Uh-oh.
Awesome.
0, 0.
Okay. There's more than one solution to this system.
So then what about the other? Yeah, about C.
You can stop here at this point. If you had started by solving for a different variable, you may have found a solution for 1, and then when you plugged it back in, you would have found the same line for 2. When we get to the section on matrices, okay, we're going to have to provide more information than to just say many solutions. You're going to have to tell me based on what, okay? But for now, all you need to do is say everything dropped out, so that's many solutions, and be done. You okay, Grit?
Yeah.
Everybody got this? Gunther, not quite? You okay with where I came up with all that, Gunther? All right. I'm going to assume you guys could do 11. I'm not going to go through all these. Number 12. Anybody figure out what's going to happen here? This is like the test question would look, okay, guys? If it was multiple choice, it would say both infinitely many solutions and consistent. Said 1 inconsistent, no solution, inconsistent. You guys can figure this one out. All right, I would like to talk about 13. 13 and 14 are possible test questions or quiz questions for next Thursday. Whether you have to solve or not, I don't know, but it says, set up a system. This is actually a multiple choice question. I just want to take you through, what are the two variables representing? Okay? Placed in each account. So the amount placed in each account is what we're looking for. So we're gonna say X is the amount of money at 9%, and Y is the amount of money at 10%. Here it says she has a total of this much money between the two accounts. So X plus Y has to total 12,557. This is just the total amount of money in her accounts. There's another sentence that has to do with the interest she earns. Okay, what would that sentence look like? How much interest does she earn on this X dollars right here? Okay, 0.09 times X. How much interest does she earn on this Y amount? And the total amount of interest she earns So which equation is right? Everybody okay with that one? I'm not gonna bother to solve. All right. There is an age question on the test eventually when we get to the end of chapter 12. And everybody gets it wrong. Because it says something like this, it says something about in 18 years the sum of their ages will be 118. The problem is everybody thinks to add the 18 years from now to one person's age. But if we're talking about your age and my age, in 18 years, we will both have aged 18 years, yes? So you have to add 18 to each of our ages, okay? Or I'll be dead, one or the other. Okay? Now you're supposed to say, oh, of course not. Fourth period was all like, oh, no, Miss Hoffbauer. You guys are like, yeah, you probably will be dead, guys. All right. Yes, thank you. Okay. Denise is 4 more than 2 times as old as Henry. In 18 years, the sum of their ages will be 118. So I'm going to let X be Denise's age, okay? And Y be Henry's age. Denise would just be X equals, oops, I guess I can write that down here. 4 more than twice as old as Henry. Finish that equation. Denise is 4 more than 2 times as old as Henry. Okay, 4 more than 2 times Henry. 2y plus 4 would have been fine, okay? In 18 years, the sum of their ages will be 118. Does anybody think they know how to write that equation?
Equals 118 as we add.
Good job.
We're just saying 118.
Denise is going to get 18 years older. Henry is going to get 18 years older. And when you add their ages together, you're going to get 118. You don't have to have the parentheses. You don't have to write it exactly like that. You could subtract the 18s from the other side, both of them. But do you get the idea that it's got to be, okay, the sum, they both have to have aged 18 years, not just one of them. Can you remember that for the test? All right. This is the assignment. I'm not going to solve that problem. You can solve it if you want. Actually, what does it ask? How old? It only asks how old Henry is. Did anybody figure it out? We could just do substitution, couldn't we? Henry is 26, yep. Henri, his friend. All right. The assignment, guys, the assignment is written on the board. It is not typed on your worksheet anywhere. I apologize. But it's up here if you want to write it down or take a snapshot of the whole homework check. What? I do not have a pink sheet ready to go yet. That's why you also did not get the whole chapter 12 packet. You just got worksheet 1 because I was originally intending to have a test today. Remember, we were going to test on the whole chapter. We postponed it till Tuesday. So I didn't have chapter 12 ready yet. Okay. I'm going to stop recording.